when we talk about wellness, we're not just talking about sound and body. We're talking about sound and mind, sound and heart, sound and spirit. We're talking about doing those things that promote soundness and goodness and kindness and compassion all over. And I think some of us, everybody, black, white, all, because I work with all kind of people. I think that we've just been so programmed and conditioned to this hair trigger response and these conditioned beliefs that we don't ever really tap into the wellness that's in our heart, and the wellness that we are. We are so powerful, Jason. You are so powerful. And so I wonder, what is the greatness that you have to do that the deceptive intelligence keeps you from using anxiety?
Right.
Anxiety. There's something calling you, bigger calling you, and they know the way we can stop him, or the way we can stop it. When I say they, I just mean the deceptive intelligence, the ego, the underbelly, the subconscious mind. Let's stop him by making him anxious. And then you get all into the anxiety. Okay, so you got anxiety. So what now what? What now what? Be anxious and move anyway.
Right.
Be afraid and move anyway.
Even the way you just responded to that comment, and being calm and logical and straightforward. I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. I think you're just such a good example of, I don't know if it's maturity, if it's patience, if it's whatever, all of that, that we all need right now.
I'm not externally referenced. My, again, wellness, I'm very well spiritually. I'm very well emotionally. Mentally, I have some challenges because I can't remember nothing. But I'm very well spiritually and emotionally. Mentally, I have a well-developed mind because I didn't grow up on technology. I grew up reading. I know I own over 10,000 books. Most of which I have read. I have 3 libraries in my house. One library is simply sacred books. I have over 400 Bibles. I have about 60 Qurans. I have the Bhagavad Gita. I have the Torah. I have, you name it, I got it in one room. That's my prayer room. And then I have a library in the basement that's probably 9 feet tall and maybe, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units across, 8 shelves in each unit, books that I've read. And then in my office.
And you've read all those books?
Yeah, I did. Because I didn't have a well-developed mind. I grew up in poverty and dysfunction and violence and abuse, and I didn't have a well-developed mind until I went to law school. Law school taught me how to think. Most of us don't know how to think. We know how to react. We know how to criticize. We know how to judge. We know how to shut down, but we don't know how to think. Thinking is an analytical process, and every thought is like an electrical current, and it will stimulate an emotion, or you'll have an emotion, a sensation that will stimulate a thought. But we haven't learned how to think and how to respond to those thoughts. I don't have to respond to every thought. I don't have to respond to every stimuli coming in. So that's another part of wellness. That's another part of wellness. Getting out the story, come out of the story and get into the truth. And nobody's teaching us that anymore.
Do you sell a gratitude journal?
I have a gratitude journal and a prayer journal. I do my gratitude every single day.
That you have available?
No, I don't sell one. That's so funny you should ask me that, because everybody's been telling me to do it. You know what? Help me. See, here's where you young people can help me. I'm not good at selling. I'm a horrible salesperson. I give everything away. And
if you had a gratitude journal, I'm sure I would be writing in that thing every day, because I know the way I talked about your book last time, Until Today, that helped me. It breaks it down in a very, like, there's a very methodical process. There's the problem or the situation. There's the story. So you could be like, oh
Yes.
yeah, I see that. And then there's the affirmation on how we're not going to come back here no more. You know, like
No,
we're
we're
going to keep
not.
going.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. But you know, it's just like for your youngins right now, anybody that's got money issues, I'm telling people to do my prosperity process. I have a 40-day prosperity process. You can get it at on my Facebook page. Because even the relationship with money, people think money is for spending. It's not. It's a medium of exchange, but we need to be mindful of what we're exchanging with our money. So most of us have a dysfunctional relationship with money. We're not financially well. We're not financially well. I think bad credit is the #1 disease in the country.
Yeah. And it's a way of it's classism too. It controls everything you do, every way you move, where you can live, how you can eat, how you can provide.
But here's the thing about, and particularly about the credit score. The credit score is someone else's judgment of you. However, your credit score is a function of your personal integrity. Okay? Because everything you get on credit, when you use your credit, whether it's light bill, phone bill, credit cards, loans, you've already used what you got to pay for. If you don't buy nothing on your Visa, they don't send you a bill. Right. But if you buy something, they send you a bill. And then if you don't pay your bill as agreed on the 1st of the month, the 5th of the month, whatever, it says that you don't honor your word, that you're not a person of integrity, that you don't keep your commitments. And so then Equifax, TransUnion, then they judge you bad, good, high risk, low risk, you know.
and how good you are and
right,
how bad you are.
Right. But we get all bent out of shape about the score and don't realize it's our lack of integrity.
It's a reflection of us. Yeah.
Yes.
I just had a moment. So I used to own a credit repair company.
Okay.
And we made a lot of money helping people, right? But I never thought about credit that way, because everybody that would come in and look at their credit score, their credit report, would be so mad at all the people who reported them and the agencies and never took responsibility, including myself.
Right. So we got to get financially healthy, because money is a symbol of power. And how you manage your money, how you think about your money, really is a reflection of how you use your power. Really, I
think the frustrating part of this whole process, I'm thinking and listening to you, is that this virus, Rona, she's outside making
no, it's a guy. It's a guy.
Corona is outside, forcing us to sit in here, trapped with our thoughts, trapped with the lessons that we're learning about ourselves, right? Trapped with, like, when you talk about finances, I've saved so much money because I'm now looking back on how much money I wasted. You know, it's convenient to just get this courier to do what my team could do or what I could do, or it's easier to order my food out or order my groceries. You know, it's just easier when that convenience came with a high price. So now when I look at, like, how I'm, preserving my employees or making sure I'm saving here and there, I've learned a lot about that. I think that's the motor that's running, because I would be on planes so distracted by the moving and the shaking that I would not even be as focused as I am right now. And I think a lot of people are feeling that.
Yeah. And again, they may waste their money. I won't say waste. They're not mindful with their money the same way they're not mindful with their power. People will stay in dysfunctional or inharmonious or unsatisfactory relationships the same way they'll spend $30, $40 a week buying coffee that you can make in your house for, 40 cents a cup. But we waste our power the same way because we don't value it, because we don't value ourselves, And I'm, listen, I've been fiscally irresponsible, financially irresponsible. I didn't understand money. I didn't understand the value of it. Money represents my own natural energy yield. My own natural energy yield, MONEY. So if you got low energy, you're going to have money issues. If you got a lot of anxiety, stress, if you don't have physical wellness, if you don't have a good ownership, that was good, Jason. That's how you own it. Yeah. If you don't have good mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness, you'll either chase money or lose money or have a really dysfunctional relationship with money. And you know what, the thing that's so beautiful about it, if I could just impress one thing upon the family today, when you go to the TV and you turn it on and you're watching BET, you don't know what's going on ABC. You don't know. Or if you're on CBS, you don't know what's going on TV One, right? Mm-hmm. But we're not like that. We're not, this channel and what's going on over there doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. We are a organic unit. So even if you're not looking at BET, it's affecting what's going on TV One in your being. You know what I mean? Yeah. So even if you're not looking at your mind, it affects your heart. If you're not looking at your emotional well-being, it affects your spiritual well-being. If you're not looking at your spiritual well-being, it affects your physical well-being. We are not television sets. We are an organic unit. So I really want to impress upon people that in this time that we have, and I know a lot of people are still working and stuff, but, things are laxed and whatever, really get intimate. Into me, see what's going on inside of you. Are you still mad at Boo Boo and Kafada because they left you back in 56 or 96 or whatever? Are you still mad at your daddy, your mama? Did mama like your brother better? I mean, those kinds of things. We've got to get that clear, Jason, because this is what I realized. I didn't mean to say it, but it fell out of my mouth. And so I'll take responsibility for it. What if the virus is just a representation of how mean we've been to each other, how we've attacked each other silently, how we've creeped up on people, how we've said ugly things about right here on the same internet that's keeping us together? What if the corona is a representation of all the fathers who won't take care of their children? What if the corona is a representation of the meanness and the competition and the ugliness that exists among women? What if? What if the corona is simply the manifestation of what we've been holding in our hearts and our minds? What if? I don't know any of this to be true, but I do know that by the time it shows up out in the world, people have been carrying it in their hearts and their minds. What if? What if God is the universe, the creator, whatever you call it, is really trying to show us who we are? Because we think that to get on this thing here and what they call it, catfish people, ghost people, divorced people on the internet, we think that is appropriate behavior. It is not appropriate behavior. We think to cuss somebody out using a fictitious name is okay. Well, Corona got some fictitiousness for your butt, okay?
We posted this on Hollywood Unlocked the other day. We said March was the first month in multiple years that there hasn't been a school shooting in America.
Okay. And the Dolphins. Dolphins have been seen again right down in not Myrtle Beach, down in Florida, Sarasota. They hadn't been seen in years. They've spotted the Dolphins in Sarasota. They've spotted the Dolphins in Italy again. Okay. Mm-hmm. What if Mother Nature is simply saying, oh my Lord, y'all are just running amok. Let me breathe. She can breathe. Mm-hmm. We're not pounding on her boobs, peeing on her trees and, spitting on her flowers and killing bugs. She can breathe. She can
Right.
read. So what if the corona is really just an energetic, combination of how we've been to each other?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jason, we've been so horrible to each other for so many years, and trust me, I support, us young people, particularly young people, because you all have the courage to do things I would never have the courage to do. But, I'll just say, like, the amount of violence that I see perpetrated against, let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you, I come from Brooklyn. You'd only have one chance to throw a drink in my face. And you would, first of all, when I got done with your behind, you wouldn't even drink no more. You wouldn't even drink no water. Okay.
Right.
I see this repetitive behavior on these shows of women throwing drinks on each other and jumping. I mean, it was what, 5-6 years ago now that I had a conversation with Evelyn Lozada about that kind. What is wrong with you? Do you understand that your grandmother laid in the bottom of a ship so that you could have a television show? And you gonna get on there and throw a drink in another woman's face? Come here and let me slap the taste out your mouth.
Listen, I threw a drink. That's why I'm not ready for I Fix My Life. When you see it, I'm going to send you. I just did a link on me and all my problematic behavior. I'm going to send it to you so you can look at it.
Oh,
but I haven't thrown a drink since I prayed up. I don't
But
want
let me ask you, help me, because I want to understand. Talk to me about that process.
Okay.
Let's walk through the process.
Okay. So when I first got on Love and Hip Hop, I'd never done reality TV. And I thought, it's reality TV. I'm just going to show up and be myself. It's very simple. And not understanding how TV is produced. And I'm not blaming producers, because I take responsibility for anything that I do with my hands, my mouth, whatever I do it. And so I'm in total control, or I thought, right? So when I got on the show, I walked into the show saying I'm an openly gay man, but I do not want my sexuality to be a topic on the show my first season, because I want the world to see me. I don't want them to see my sexuality, and I don't want to be exploited. I don't want this to be a circus act, because I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to use the platform to launch my business. When I got on the show, I was in a private relationship with somebody who wasn't out, and he's publicly known. And I got into it with a woman who, if you would have told me I would have threw a drink on a woman, I would have bet you every dollar in my bank account that I would not have done that, because I have 5 sisters. I had a mother who, struggled with drug addiction, and I see the strength of a woman.
Know. I know. Now I know who you are. Okay. I've seen a couple of them. Okay, go ahead.
So in the argument with her, where, we're trying to rip each other down, and
tell me about that. What's going on?
It was a conversation of where each of us were trying, with Hazel E. and me.
Well, I did Hazel.
I know. I saw it. It was an amazing episode. But it was this competition between both of us to tear each other down.
Why? Tell me why.
Because I think what I learned, at least I can't say for her, I'll say for me, the cameras were on, and I felt very vulnerable. I felt very, oh my God, I gotta win. I felt, that's what I really was feeling. Now, the drink throwing came out of fear. People thought it was over being angry or being mad. I felt all the judgment I had never felt for being gay. I had never been called a faggot until I did that show. I had never had nobody disrespect me. My family and I had never had the conversation. The boy that I was dealing with was not out. And it was just so much that I had to get out. And I literally
felt attacked. Did you feel attacked?
And then when I threw the drink, I felt embarrassed, because here I am, a person that thought he was in control, but was really afraid and out of control.
Okay.
And all that was happening at once. And it was just, it was my first scene I had ever done TV. And then I felt like, then I knew every day after that, the judgment's coming. Once it airs, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then when it came, I started playing into that character, that not defending the behavior, but more so acting like it didn't bother me when I knew that it did.
Let me ask you a question. Okay?
Yeah.
We're not going to fix your life, but I want to ask you this. Have you ever forgiven yourself for that? I mean, really?
I
That
haven't.
would be a no.
Yeah. Not. I haven't forgiven myself for losing control.
Okay, but right, that's the part. For losing control, for thinking that vulnerability was a bad thing or a weakness, because just because you're gay, you're still a man.
Mm-hmm.
And weakness is kryptonite to a man. He can't
Mm-hmm.
be weak, and forgive yourself for thinking you have to be in control. And I'm saying this to you, but I'm saying this to anybody who's engaged in, that kind of explosive behavior. Because until you forgive yourself, it's prone to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a young woman, I had a long-term relationship with a married man. Ultimately, I married him, but our relationship began and he was a married man. And he wasn't with his wife. They were separated and blah, 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 blah. And, one day it got clear. If he's married and you are not, you are in relationship with a married man. Is that who you are? Would you want that done to you? And that's where I really got clear about the statement, I'm not my sister's keeper. I am my sister. And eventually we separated, and I carried that thing, the guilt and the shame of it, the embarrassment of it, all of that for many years until I really forgave myself. So I want to encourage you to really do some forgiveness work, so that you don't have that. That may be some of your anxiety. Am I going to be vulnerable again? Am I going to lose control again? Am I going to, what are people going to say about me? Whatever. I told you this before, and I'll say it again before your audience. As a woman, once your boobs fall, judgments are, they judge me, hell, because there's nothing you can do to get the girls to stand back up. They have laid down. They ain't getting back up. And I don't care how much you spend, $80, $100 on the push-up bra, when you take it off, they falling back down. So you become kind of insensitive to judgments.
No, but it's crazy. When I realized that I hadn't worked through it, the first time I interviewed you, when you came on my show, and I had all this respect for you and your contributions to my life, to my healing during my brother, all this, and I felt like, oh, I don't want her to know, and I live, people that know me, that know me through this, right, or my shows, or whatever, they'll be like, yo, Jason just don't care about, he ain't afraid of nothing, but they don't realize, like, we need to have permission to forgive ourselves as much as we have permission to forgive other people.
Yes, you have to give yourself permission to forgive yourself. You have to give yourself permission for the frailties of your humanness, because then we have this false sense of perfection. I have to be this, I have to be that, I have to do this. And it is hard. And I do understand. That's why I will not allow a script. I will not allow a record on the set of Fix My Life. I never see my guests until they hit the door, because I don't want to have any preconceived note. No, I don't.
So you don't even, there's no beats on what the issues are, none of that?
Well, I know what the issues are based on what they write. Okay. I know what the issues are based on their Skype interview, but they have never been in the same space with me. I won't talk to them on the phone. I don't send them an email, because I know that once we get in the space together, if it's not totally authentic, they're going to be playing to the camera. They're going to try to say again,
they
what
can't
they told me
where
before.
you're going to go with it. Yeah.
Right. They don't know where I'm going.
That's why when you did the Fix My Life with the young girl who had been abducted.
Right.
And that was, you could see that that's reality TV.
Yeah.
Because it's real. She
was just too young, and she was too young. She didn't have the cognitive development. Neither did her family. And I was good until, my son works on the set. And so when she threatened to cut my heart out with a knife, and I could see my son out the corner of my eye, I said, okay, this is not going to turn out well. Let me get her up out of here because somebody getting ready to get hurt. Okay.
But she later found the courage to tell her story. So
yes, she did. And God bless her. You know, it was her and that she was abductive, but the issues of the story, and that's what we try to do is speak to the issues. The issue of the story of letting people get away with bad behavior, of being overly submissive because of guilt or whatever. You know, the father couldn't correct her because he was scared she was going to go away. Just whatever the issues are. They apply to everybody, you know. Your story, being a man who behaved badly one time or who acted out because of fear or vulnerability, and you owned it. You said, I felt vulnerable and I was afraid, and then blah, 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 you know, the stories going on in the mind. So that's why I say do your inner work so that you can get well around that and don't carry that. Don't carry
I didn't like the way she talked to you though. And I
Who?
I mean, you controlled yourself way better than I think the typical
The
person
young girl?
would. Yeah.
She was 19. Do you understand? I got underwear older than her. I can't get upset with her. I got underwear that outdate her. What the hell? She's a baby. She is a baby.
Right.
You know? And
right.
she was, I can't. And they come to me for help. They come to me for help. I can't get mad at, you know, when the surgeon is doing surgery on you and he cuts you and blood spills on his shoes, was he going to smack you in the head because you bled on his shoes? No. I can't get upset with these people, whoever they are. And I love them. I love people, you know, so I don't get upset with them. We should take some questions.
Yeah, before getting their question, I have to ask you one more thing. So Iyanla has a new podcast called Love from a Distance. You had Susie Orman on. How did that go?
Oh, she laid it out. Susie said, do not be worried about your FICO score. And she said, you know, pay what has to be paid. And if it don't have to be paid, don't pay it. You know, if you can get a deferment, if you can push it to the end, she said, pay what has to be paid. Pay your minimum on your credit cards. Don't try to pay your credit. She said, don't use your stimulus money to pay off your credit cards. And she said, in any place that you're having a hard time, there are 3 words. Could you please? Could you please give me an extension? Could you please help me? Could you please, you know, she said, because in this time, we've got to help each other. She said, and then when this is all over, that the community of humanity will, if they have to rise up and go to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and that nothing that happened in this time should impact anybody's credit score because it's just their judgment. She said, this is of no fault of our own. So could you please pay what has to be paid and ask everybody else for an extension? She laid it out. It was beautiful. And she said that people who are having money fears and challenges, it's because they're not strong inside. The way we're going to get through this thing is from the inside.
So everybody asking if you could talk to Iyanla every day. You probably can't talk directly to her every day, except for on her Facebook and the podcast. So you could go there and get something from it, because I mean, you're having conversations for the soul, and I just feel like right now we're all trying to find that, including myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just gotta get still.
Well, yeah. I got the Calm app and I downloaded your app. So I'm so apped out at this point. I'm just going to keep listening. You're going to come to deliver stuff at my door and they're going to hear waves and Matthew McConaughey talking. This person said, what's the first step to forgiving yourself for your past actions?
Tell the absolute truth about it. Don't give no excuses. Don't cut no corners. Don't make excuses. I slept with a married man and I knew he was married and I knew his wife. Okay. I did.
Don't get no more.
Yes, I did.
It don't get no more honest than that.
Okay. And that's what happens. You got to tell the absolute truth about it. And then look at the feelings that you've attached to it. Shame, guilt, blame, judgment, disappointment, whatever you've attached to it. And start by really trying to identify. That's what I was asking you. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? What made you think this was okay? And then you say, I was thinking that people were going to judge me. Now you forgive that thought. So you got to look at it. You've got to tell the truth about it. You've got to forgive the thought. You've got to forgive the feeling. You've got to forgive the belief. Okay. But, and give yourself permission to do all of that.
Okay. How long is it too long to wait for an engagement?
What?
How long is too long to wait for an engagement?
I don't understand what that means. What do you mean? So you're dating somebody and you want to get married? Well, what is the meaning that you're giving to engagement?
Right.
What is the meaning? I don't understand. How long is too long? Is that what you want to be engaged, or do you want to be married? What do you want?
Right.
Listen, hear me. Watch my lips. Can you see my lips are moving? Can you see my lips?
Yeah.
All bets are off. All bets are off. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. See, I think you're asking me that question because you know this person is not going to ask you to marry them. You know, marry you. You know they playing you. And you think that if you get engaged to them, that's somehow going to give you a stronghold. No. If this is not the relationship that you want, get out. Get out. Get out. Because what do you want? You want to be engaged? So you get engaged and you stay engaged for 15 years? What do you want? Ask for it. And be willing not to get it from that person. From that person. Okay, let me shut up.
How do you deal with a narcissistic man?
What that mean? What is a narcissistic man? No, I see that question. Cross out how and put why. Why? I don't even know what everybody's narcissistic. I'm narcissistic. You're narcissistic. Are you talking about cruel, abusive, self-centered? Are you getting what you want out of the relationship? Period. Here it is again. I think I said this last week, but I'll say it again. You don't get to tell people how to love you. You get to see how they love and then choose if you want to participate. If that's how he loves, you got to say, I don't choose to participate in that. You don't get to tell people how to love. They love the way they love. They love to fulfill their needs. They love the way they learn. How they love is one thing. Your question is, am I going to participate in this kind of loving?
Or a shortcut answer is go to YouTube and watch Iyanla's episode with Karuchi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think you kind of broke it all down there.
Okay.
How do I find peace in close quarters as a single mother of two?
Oh, any way you can. When the kids go to bed, get in the tub. And why can't you have peace with the children? Teach them how to sit down. Get that Calm app. They have stuff on there for kids, age-appropriate stuff. You give them, they need to know how to do time out. They need to know how to do quiet time. They need to know how to pray. They need to know how to breathe. They need to know how to meditate. You're a single mother of two, but you're raising two human beings. Teach them the things that they need to know to discipline their mind, discipline their heart, discipline their spirit. Teach them how to do it. That's what you have to do. I don't know how old they are, but my great grandson that ran and crawled up in my arms, he'll be 3 in September. And when I say, okay, come on, time to breathe, he goes sit down and he breathe. He got his little chair and we sit there and we breathe.
I forgot. I've been watching Kim Kardashian and her daughter, who keeps interrupting all her little videos. That back in the day, you would be it's nap time. You gotta go lay down, even if you don't want to lay down. Even if you can't fall asleep, you gotta lay down.
You gotta go take a nap, cool out, time out. But we can teach our children that, and then you make your time. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, even right now. I get up at 5:30 in the morning because my first prayer call is at 6:30. So between 5:30 and 6:30, I have to do my shower. I have to do my prayer, my breath, so that I can be ready for my prayer call at 6:30. I get off my 6:30 prayer call. I come downstairs. I make my coffee. My next prayer call is at 7:15. So by 7:30, I've been up 2 hours, and I'm straight. I'm straight, as they would say,
Right.
for the day. So you know what? If you got to stay up a little later after they go to bed, if you got to get up a little earlier, or just teach them, this is mommy's time. You see that commercial? There's a commercial that comes on, and they say, you've given the children all of your thing, but don't give them your something she's eating. And the kid knocks on the bathroom door, says, Ma, she says, it's Dad. And they go away.
Right. Okay, this person, okay, I'd say go to iyanlavanzant.com, but also on our website, hollywoodunlocked.com. We did a whole write-up last week. We're going to do one again this week, and we're going to put all the links to all the different things that Iyanla offered on the last time we got together. But people want to know more of, they want to get more into wellness. Where should they research?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I want to get more into wellness. That makes it a doing. How about I want to be well? I want to know my wellness. Then your research will be about your state of being. Simple things. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to pray. Look up mindfulness videos. Listen to lectures on mindfulness so that you can be fully present in the moment, every moment. Yeah. Don't make it a doing. Make it a being.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.